Hey, Aleksandar Velev here, founder of GTM Revenue, and we'll be talking about a very important topic today, and that is how do you get successful B2B go-to-market campaigns and how you can get the same output as 3 to 5 salespeople at 1/3 to 1/5 the cost. And I'm not saying something random. This is all going to be based on our experience and knowledge that we bring from having generated over $53 million in sales pipeline for our clients. We've been trusted by over 75 different clients during the years that GTM Revenue has existed, and we've sent over 7 million outreach messages. So everything in here will be based on that experience and on a lot of data. We also have partnerships or certifications with Apollo, NA10 and SmartLead. We also have a couple of others, but these are the main ones. And the problem in the market really is that most lead generation companies just simply do not get results. They can give you some leads, they can give you some contacts, but that doesn't always translate to sales pipeline. We're not even talking about revenue here. And they give you some expectations, but they don't meet them. This is so common in the market right now. And I'm going to tell you how we solve this. And most in-house teams lack the expertise that's required right now. There's a lot of new AI tools, a lot of new softwares. It's very overwhelming. So in-house teams cannot really handle this. They end up losing a ton of resources when they try to do it in-house. At the end, they still end up having to work with a company like ours. And that's why in this video, I'm going to be going over some real practical examples of how the top 1% of companies go about their B2B go-to-market campaigns. And I'll also go over the most important questions people exactly like you watching this video have. So what's the expected results and the ROI? What makes our process new and different from all of the other companies out there? And if you watch until the end, I'm going to tell you how to qualify for our cheap entry offer so you can test these top 1% systems without a big upfront financial risk. So it's not just about setting up some campaign and sending out some emails, doing some phone calls, doing some LinkedIn. That does not work. What you need is to bring together strategic and go-to-market expertise and create your own tailor-made AI solutions. And this is how we fuel our clients' revenue growth. So the strategic and go-to-market expertise, it's not about sending an email. It's you have your ICP, many companies have their ICP, but how do you segment that? What are the different segments? What are their pain points? What's the different messaging that you should use in each segment of your ICP? We handle all of this for you. Then it's the timing. How do you talk at the right people at the right time? We also handle this for you. Then it's the offer structure, the messaging framework. So we've sent over 7 million outreach messages. You don't want to be using some template. That's also the creative ideas. We have the data on what works, but how can we creatively spin it? Because these templates, there's 1,000 other people using it. You're not going to get results, right? So you see the template on LinkedIn or on some other social media, do not use that. It doesn't work anymore. Then it's the market intelligence and the feedback. So you have the different parts. You have the people that you target, when you target them, what's your offer, the message. And you don't want to be just blindly sending out these things. There is a lot of science to this. So we handle all of this for you and figure out what your market actually responds to. Then it's the campaign strategy, the structure. Then you need somebody to create and manage all of these systems. This is where our team of experts comes in. And also minimizing costs and increasing ROI. So we can set up a playbook, and many companies do this, but then they end up spending $5,000, $6,000 a month just on some tech tools. And then you also gotta pay people, it gets too expensive. So if you get a partner like us, we can help you keep the same advanced GTM playbook, but cut up to 60% of the costs, right? So keep the same quality, minimize the costs. And now In the modern situation of the market, not only do you need somebody with this expertise of go-to-market, but you also need somebody with the technical expertise. That's why it's so difficult for in-house teams to do this right now. You need somebody who understands sales and go-to-market, but then is also very well versed in all of these different tools. This is what we do for our clients. And I wanted to say that we are not a lead generation agency. A lead generation agency just can give you some leads. This is not what we do. Our value goes way beyond that, as you can see from what I just told you so far. Right. So if you want a company that it's just a transaction, you pay them something, they give you some leads, you can stop watching the video and just go to somebody else. Now, if you want to get real results, you work with somebody like us, because we understand the game. We've done this for a long time. We've done this for plenty of people very successfully. And it's not just sending an email or doing something like that. It's a very complicated process, and we handle every single part for our clients. I think the best way to show you how all of this works is with real practical examples and case studies. So this one is how we got 19 enterprise sales opportunities and closed $1.1 million in contract value just from one campaign. I'm really proud of this one, honestly. And this is the story of one of our clients and how we rebuilt their entire outbound sales playbook. And in the process, we also completely changed the way they think about acquiring new customers. They're a SaaS company helping large organizations with their field operations. And when we started working together, they were trying to build an outbound sales team to bring in more predictable revenue. But they had 4 salespeople who were all missing their quota, right? Big problem there. And the big reason why this was happening is because they were looking at their entire market and they said, okay, we have one ICP. So that's people that meet this broad criteria of if the company has a certain amount of employees, if it's in the right location and the right industry. Then they would get a weekly list from Zoom Info of decision makers. Each SDR would get 25 leads per week. And then they would use some templates. So just change the messaging a little bit and send it to each person. Now, the big problem with this is that you're never actually considering, is this message even relevant? Now, you have some template, you personalize it a little bit. It does not address the biggest issue here, which is we cannot be thinking about a broad fit, which is an industry, headcount, and location. The new way of doing it is by targeting specific company situations. So we needed a way to research and find the companies that have the problems that our client can solve. So that's problems with their field technicians, operations, and management. We tried many different signals, monitoring job postings and analyzing company initiatives. So in the job posting, they might mention some problems that they're trying to solve by making a new hire. Or in the earning reports, we might see some issues there. So we want to talk to that company. Then reading employee reviews and looking for mentioned problems. Then scraping customer feedback and again, looking for signals. We tried over 10 different things. And the best one was looking at Glassdoor. So Glassdoor is a company review website. So all of the employees can go there and leave a review on their company. And because we were mostly targeting big companies, we were able to get a lot of reviews actually. And we were looking for things like people reporting that they have lack of work-life balance, they had inadequate communication within the company, or the inability to work properly because of some problem with their processes. So we went from this one ICP, get the list of 25 people, templatize it a little bit, to looking for the problem first, to making sure that we're relevant first, and then we took it one step further, right? So it's industry based, each industry, different messaging, different strategy. We qualify them, so they're in telecom. Then we qualify them, so they're in telecom, but do they have field service technicians? We wanted to look for companies that have at least an X amount. And then if we were able to find those insightful reviews, we look at each KPI that's mentioned. So if it's a problem that might affect a certain KPI, right? We look for people within each organization that we're trying to reach out to. We look for the people responsible for that KPI. We don't say, okay, let's talk to all possible 20, 30 decision makers, right? Or people that might be in the buying committee. We don't do that. We look for the most relevant person possible depending on the KPI, right? So this is smart targeting. And then we talk about that KPI specifically to that person. And here's an example of how the message looked in the end. Hey Bill, so you were leading operations at company name for around 3 years, so I wanted to reach out. I was on Glassdoor and noticed that some of your technicians are mentioning they don't have access to accurate information and report having to work longer than scheduled, which is probably significantly impacting your technicians' productivity. Right, so this is what we found on Glassdoor. And then we recently worked with company name, which is a case study here. So we look at their company that we're reaching out to, and then we find the most similar company within the case studies that we have. And then that case study probably has like 10 different KPIs that we improved for them with the product, right? We want to select and talk about the one KPI that's mentioned here. So technician productivity. So this message looks completely different for each person that gets it. And it's not personalized, right? It's not, hey, I saw which university you went at. It's relevant. Here is your problem. I know you're the person responsible for this problem. Here's the most similar company to you talking about the same metric. Here's how we improved it. Call to action, very simple. Can I just send more information about how we might be able to do the same for you? Right, this gets way better results than any other personalization that you can get. And here's the results. 1,600 leads, out of which 11.1% response rate. And in the end, we got 19 which were qualified after a sales meeting and they became sales opportunities. And then our client was able to close 4 of them, which amounted to over $1.1 million in contract value. Then here's how we outperformed a team of 6 salespeople. This client is a B2B SaaS with a product that solves very specific demand generation issues. And because traditional filtering by company size and industry wasn't enough for how specific their ideal customer needs to be, we found after digging in that about 40% of the leads that they're actively pursuing in their CRM were not qualified, even though on the surface level, on their previous criteria, they looked like they were. So the 6 salespeople were bringing in around 47 meetings, and they would be getting around 3 to 4 deals out of that after waiting some time because of the sales cycle. The first most important solution was to test, okay, let's see the lead quality, right? Can we improve it? After we created a custom AI that goes through and researches a lot of things about the company, like the marketing team structure, so the different roles and the marketing team size, the marketing tech stack, which marketing channels they focus on and they use, and the finance team size. This is their campaign before. So 1.5% reply rate, just 1 positive reply, kind of bad data to be honest. Right, we went from 1.5% reply rate. This is almost the same campaign, by the way, that they were running. We changed the messaging because now we had the ability to be more relevant. And now we had better targeting as well, right? Because each and every prospect that we talk to is qualified not before we get on a call with them, but before we even reach out to them. So you only reach out to people that are qualified. And we didn't just improve one campaign. You can see 1 positive reply, 12 positive replies. We've been working for them for a long time, and we implemented many different strategies, like social listening, which is basically looking at a lot of the data on LinkedIn, picking a couple of people that post on LinkedIn a lot, and getting lists of all of the people in your ICP that engage with that content. Or keywords, seeing people that engage with keywords. For us, this would be keywords about outbound or go to market, or for them it would be about channel marketing or collaboration between finance and marketing, right? Then it's intent data, so just people that are looking for a tool like this right now. That would be also website visitors, so we were able to retrieve 20 to 40% of the people that visit their website. And then it would be custom intent data, so hiring activity, new executive changes, company news, all of these. So then we can trigger specific outreach. And also custom lists, so LinkedIn followers of competitors, industry event attendees. We really did so many different strategies, just to name a few here. We started January 1st, 2024 until recently, June 10th, 2025. Total for email and LinkedIn, 814 meetings, over 100 closed deals. We've been working together for about 17 months now, and we were averaging 48 meetings per month. Those were coming in at 6 to 10 closes after a full sales cycle. So before they were getting 47 meetings, now it's 48, around the same number, but more than double the closes, as you can see. And for more context, their lifetime value is between 15 to 25,000. Put it in the middle, about 8 closed deals per month. We were generating for them about $160,000 of lifetime value each and every month. Okay, the next one is about how to combine LinkedIn content with AI multi-channel outreach, and how we are able to book over 35 meetings per month with very qualified people. These are people that have already consumed a lot of your content. They're most likely in the market, they know you already, they trust you, so this works really well. This specific example is for one of our clients, which is a B2B IT services company, but this also works for many of our clients. We've implemented this for many companies. People argue if you should do LinkedIn content or some other type of content, or if you should do outreach. And here's how you can actually combine both of them and get 3 to 5x better results than normal outreach. And it works especially well if your audience or your ICP is on LinkedIn. So first we gathered all people that like, share, comment, or view your profile. And then for people that don't have a big following, you can scrape the engagement of competitors on LinkedIn. So this is IT services. If there's another person who has 30,000, 50,000 followers and they post something and they get 300 people commenting, liking, you can scrape that list, and you can do it every day, and then you can reach out to those people. Then before we reach out, we want to make sure that they fit the ICP criteria. So it needs to be the right, these are just a few, there's a lot more, but needs to be the right industry, job title. We need to check with AI if the company has a specific company offering that our client can help out with. In this case, it was if they're hiring for new remote roles. If these are not true, we don't reach out to them. Then we engage over email and LinkedIn, and because this is really as relevant as it gets, we were crushing it, getting up to 23% reply rate, as you can see. The sales cycle was also way shorter because many of these people already know you, they're in the market, and it went from months to often weeks, and we were booking over 35 meetings per month with this playbook specifically. These are the results over the last 60 days. And then the last one, this is a very interesting one. It's how we built an AI agent ecosystem, and we're getting 60 to 90 sales opportunities per month for one of our clients who has a marketing agency for SaaS companies. So first of all, marketing agency, it's very saturated. How do you even differentiate yourself? So we came up with the idea to create a lead magnet that analyzes a company's, it uses different AI agents to analyze a company's marketing presence over different channels, different advertisements. So a company can just put in their URL and they receive a full AI audit of their social media, advertising, and SEO. And this company had tried some different lead magnets in the past, but this 10x the opt-ins and the conversion rates. This lead magnet that we built, you literally just input your URL and it does an amazing audit. So we collaborated on creating it. Then after we determined the prospect's exact issues, so this was the lead magnet really doing it, then we wanted to add some B2B data into that, right? So what's the team size? Do they have active meta ads? How much are they roughly spending? Are they hiring for new roles? Do they have funding? How much can they spend? When is the right timing? So things like this that we put on top of the AI audit. And once we had this information, it's so easy to then go and do outreach, because now you know so much more about the company. So we had inbound sequences that were tailored to each company's pain point. So they opt into the lead magnet, then they get personalized sequences. Hey, we saw that you had this issue in your SEO and this other issue. Here's how we can solve it for you, for example. And also basing it on these different signals. We did LinkedIn connections, so about 800 a month per account. We had a couple of accounts. Then LinkedIn emails, 800 per month per account. The limit is usually 50, but if you work with us, we're going to show you how you can send 800 without getting banned, without any issues. Then cold email, which was about 500 people a day, or about 15,000 a month. Then we had lead scoring and prioritizing the right leads. So an agent would be inside of their CRM. Whenever they get a new inbound lead or an opt-in lead, it would automatically score that lead based on all of our findings. And if it's a high priority lead, means they can spend a lot of money, they have a big issue, immediately a sales rep within 3 minutes would get notified with all of the data about this company. Hey, here's the person you should reach out to, here's some other decision makers, here's the issues that we spotted, the company has funding, this is roughly their ad spend on meta ads. And then we would have a lead nurturing system. So all of the people that did not convert, they opted in. This could be through many different sources, right? They did not convert. Then we would send them weekly personalized value, right? And we were able to recover about 15% of leads that were otherwise lost. Here is an example of one email. We had over 30 or 40 different variants. So this is just one example. Hey name, congrats on the new position as CMO. Company name seems to be running ads across these channels. So we can actually check across different channels where a company runs ads. And it looks like you spend at least 600 to 700,000 a year on this advertisement. So this is a rough estimate. We don't have the exact data, but it's somewhat accurate. Yet you do very little organic content, right? So they spend a lot on ads, but then we see they have 20 YouTube subscribers, for example, or they haven't posted on LinkedIn in the last 6 months. We can get all of this data. So depending on our findings, our AI would write a different message here. Since I saw you were engaging with some LinkedIn content about growing your brand organically, I thought it would be relevant to reach out, as we've helped similar companies like Case Study and got them X result. So just like the very first case study that I showed you, the case study again is selected to be of a company that's very similar to the one we're reaching out, and we're talking about organic results here. And again, the CTA very simple. We just want to get as many people responding as possible. So over the last 90 days, we got them 237 meetings, 71 came from email, and 176 came from LinkedIn. Right. If you want to see some other client results, client interviews, you can either go to gtmrevenue.com or my YouTube channel. Like you can see this one, for example. And I also wanted to tell you that I'm very familiar with the state of the market. You've probably worked with an outsourced lead generation company before, and you didn't really get the results that you expected. You probably also get pitched all the time. You receive emails, LinkedIn messages, all the time, people trying to pitch you this. And let me tell you something very interesting. I've talked to over 500 CEOs, founders, or sales leaders just in the last 12 months. And this was the case for 95% of them. They didn't get results, either with their internal team or with an outsourced agency of sorts. And I get on a call with them and they're always skeptical. They're like, oh, this didn't work for me. And I'm skeptical. But every single one of those calls, every single one, the person starts off as skeptical. And then by the end of it, that I actually get to learn a little bit more about their process. And I tell them, hey, here's what you did wrong. Here's how we can actually do things differently. Here's some real examples. And people go from skeptical to, wow, okay, now I actually understand why our previous efforts didn't work out. Now I understand why that BDR didn't work out, or that agency. And this is the case for so many of our clients. We've worked with over 75 different clients, and we actually get results. We're competent in what we do. So if you're skeptical, it's all right. You can continue. Now, if you remember in the beginning, I said that there is a cheap entry offer if you watch the whole video. Now, there is a button somewhere below, and if you book a call with me and you tell me that you watch the whole way through, I can actually offer you that if I think you're a good fit, right? Usually to get experts like my team and I, you would need to spend market prices usually start at 7,000-8,000 a month. Some charge all the way up to 30,000 a month, right? But I don't want to meet with you on day one and tell you, hey, it's going to cost you 10,000 a month, right? Which our prices aren't actually that. It's cheaper. But the main point is, if you watched all the way through and you're a committed person, we can offer you something that's going to make a lot more sense for you, right? So just tell me you watch the whole way through, click that button below, book a call with me, and if I genuinely think we can help you, I'll make you that offer and we can get you some results. So click that button.